Michigan holds up. They're part of the deal to go 7-0 leading into the rivalry week here against State. We beat Northwestern 33-7. We started off a little slow in the first half. Northwestern called some good plays, a lot of screen plays against our pretty aggressive defensive line. But, in the second half, we started to pull away. Cade threw 27 times, had 20 completions, only 129 yards. Our leading receiver was Eric All, and he only had 34 yards. I think Sanderstroll was the second most, and he had like 33 yards, which is kind of worrisome, but we definitely dominated on the ground. Corum had 19 carries for 119 yards and 2 tutters. Haskins, the Raging Bull, 23 carries, 110 yards, 2 touchdowns. They look good. There's definitely one of the better backfields in all of college football. Definitely got to be top 3. I mean, in my eyes, they're number 1 just, because they're so close to our hearts, But, defense looked great. Had a lot of pressure. It was good to see DJ Turner get that pick. That was a nice, batting it up a little bit and eventually comes down with it. I think he returned about 23 yards. A lot of these guys, the defensive backfield, they're gaining some confidence, and it's going to be very important going into this week against Sparty that, they're feeling good because they got some big playmakers at the old wideout position. So, so moving ahead to Saturday, it's Sparty week. Both teams 7-0, top 10. Michigan's ranked 6th. MSU is 8th. First top 10 matchup since, 1964. And Michigan's 4.5-point favorite in Vegas, which is kind of crazy to me. I thought maybe it'd be like 1.5 because to me, both these teams are literally the same exact team. Similar schedules going up. I mean, not saying every team that we played was dog crap, but there were some few tough ones here and there. But you can split hairs about who's better, Miami or Washington. I think they're about the same exact thing too. So this is the first true test for both teams. And from watching State, I watched State quite a bit this year. I've also been betting on them quite a bit, them and Michigan both. And they're both the money trains for the most part. And, I would have to say that Michigan State's offense is just a tad bit better than ours. And I'd say our defense is a tad bit better than theirs. I don't know, man. Our offense is just weird because, Cade doesn't turn the ball over and stuff, but he also misses a lot of people downfield. And if you were to go back and watch Northwestern, there's definitely some guys open downfield that he misses sometimes, or, sometimes he doesn't step up in the pocket, or he gets kind of like antsy back there in the pocket, but he's got all the time in the world and just makes bad decisions, or not even really bad decisions, just, missing guys that could potentially make a big play, So that's going to be important this Saturday against Sparty. We got to be able to hit those guys. Keep Cade up because he really hasn't even been hit that much. What has he been sacked once, if that? It doesn't get hit too often. The offensive line's been playing great. And another thing a little about the offensive line too is just when we're running the ball and our backs kind of like stood up a bit. They're behind him just pushing them forward, and that just tends to start to wear on people, and we haven't done that in years past. And we like to run the ball, so that's how you wear your opponent down. You can essentially get, I don't want to say like a cheap shot, but you're free ranging at a guy that's in the pile, and you can just go up there and smash him. And that just wears and tears on a defense quite a bit. So I don't know, man. I'm super excited for this game. I'm 50-50 with it, And I'm not going to do a prediction on the score because last year I did it. It was one that didn't age well at all. I want to say it was going to be like 50-something to 7 for Michigan, and they just punched us in the mouth. They hit Joe Milton on a sack, or they hit him hard when he released the ball, and then he just folded like a lawn chair, dude. And that's tough. But I think our leadership on this team is so good that they're going to be so pumped out of their minds and disciplined to to come out with this game, especially after losing to him last year. Mel Tucker's first year in the Big Ten, and they come there, even though there's not fans in the Big House, but they come to the Big House and they win in his first year, which was not a good, the media's running with it for, on Jimbo and all that, and I get it, but, that's why we have to go out here, and this would be a first for Harbaugh, go on the road against a top 10 team and win, and so happens to be that we're favored in it, but I don't know, man, it's going to be interesting, Sparty's got some good weapons, Kenneth Walker, the third, I think, for me, kind of up until that Indiana game, even though he still had 80-something yards rushing, he was my Heisman for the year, just watching him. I'm not even really sure who else they had on there. Probably Matt Corral. I know they always love to put Spencer Rattler on there, but he just got benched, so I don't know. I just think that he's one of the more exciting players to watch in the country, Kenneth Walker, that is, and they got Jalen Naylor, Jaden Reed, and Trey Mosley at wide out who can all be dangerous, and, they got big playability. Peyton Thorne's been playing pretty good so far, and kind of compared to Adrian Martinez, Martinez is probably a little bit more athletic, but I have to say that Peyton's got enough, he's mobile enough to do some damage with his legs, and I know Michigan always kind of struggles with running quarterbacks, especially in years past with Don Brown. I'm feeling pretty confident in Mike McDonald to, be able to defend the quarterback run a lot better. And I also noticed this, too, when we blitz on defense, they actually start to hit home, and they disguise the blitzes. They bring corners or safeties, and, with Don Brown, it was just hey, we're going to line up here. We're blitzing, not dropping back or anything like that. They just, let them know where they were coming from at all times. And none of those blitzes hit home, man. I mean, look at probably after the second season is when you really start to notice it with Don Brown. None of the blitzes hit home or even rushed the passer, But so hopefully we can put some pressure on Peyton, and I just think that if we limit the big plays, we can really do some damage to Sparty. Make them drive the whole field, because they've been and having big plays is not a bad thing at all, obviously. But when you rely on it, but sometimes that's just the make or break it too. That's how you run it. But make them drive the whole field. Hopefully get some turnovers, some sacks. I'm expecting State to run a lot of play action and screen plays to kind of neutralize our aggressive defensive line. But, because you've seen it against Northwestern, especially in the first half, they got us on some big screen plays, and, you get Kenneth Walker or one of these wideouts with the ball on a screen play like that, they could really do some damage. So this matchup is going to be so sweet, because like I said, it's the same exact team playing against each other. And it's a rivalry, it's top 10. Stakes are high. And, you got to expect MSU to stack the box, because, we love to run it. But I think we can run on them. I think our offensive line is playing great. But, their game plan is probably going to be, hey, let's make Cade throw it. And so it's going to be all on his shoulders, I think, on Saturday. And, hopefully Gaddis calls a good game, which he's been calling pretty good plays for the most part. I like to see A.J. Henning get the ball a little more. Even, this kind of little whack, but, even getting Cade, with those Patty Mahomes, the little jet pass thing, get some stats up. Get A.J. Henning the ball. Those guys, on the outside, getting them, letting Sparty, hitting the outsides a little bit more. Then we can go up the gut with the old Haskins, the Raging Bull, I think we're going to see, and State's always pumped up for this game. And, in years past, State's not going to let you run the ball on them for the most part. So, but I think if we can establish the run, against the stout MSU front seven, I think it's looking pretty good for us. Especially because I think that the rain is supposed to move in later on in the game. Not 100% sure. But hopefully we can get up in that first half, and, second half we just grind it out. That's why it's such an interesting matchup, because, we're going to play a little bit of bend but don't break defense, and so is State, but they got the more high-powered weapons on offense. At least they use them to their ability. I would say Michigan's got just as good as athletes, but we just got to use them better. But this is a must-win for Jimmy. Top 10 matchup on the road, tough environment, and I don't think you can go down 2 games to Mel Tucker, especially after last year. We got embarrassed, and it essentially ruined our season. Just threw everybody out of whack, and there was no momentum. It was just a bad game for Michigan, and they weren't pumped up, man. I think they're going to be, I think Aiden Hutchinson, Cade, all these guys are going to have everybody super pumped up for this game. And, betting-wise, that 4.5, I don't think I'm going to touch the game just because, I don't know, it's too much. And I'm going to be acting like a freaking lunatic when we're watching the game tomorrow. So, I don't want to put any money on it. So I think, the keys are, stop Kenneth Walker, get some turnovers, just play stout defense, take care of the ball on offense, as we always do. And penalties. Penalties are going to be huge. I know Sparty's gotten penalized quite a bit this year, so if we can just stay cool like we have this entire year, I think Jimbo's going to have our guys ready, and they're going to be ready to go. There's a different vibe about this team than it has been the last 2-3 years, especially last year. I mean, it was atrocious to watch. It was bad. So I think it's going to be a close one. It can go either way. It's 50-50 to me. I just want to see us get that run game going and Cade make some big plays because he's going to have to. And if he don't, or if we get down, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Do they put JJ in to get some spark in the game? Because every time the man touches the field and he's able to throw the ball, or they call some passing plays for him, he's electric, against Northwestern last week. He's running around, runs back like 10 yards, and then scrambling out. They think he's going to run and finds a guy for the first down, So I think as I've said pretty much every podcast this year, every rant, is that leash is getting shorter and shorter, but Cade's doing enough to not lose the job. So, and I know he's a great leader inside the locker room, so it's just an interesting thing between those two right now. Leadership is huge, and you can tell just by this year how much leadership matters, and we've been missing it. So noon tomorrow, we're at Sparty time. Like I said, it's going to be a close one. I'm hoping Michigan pulls it off. Will not do a prediction of the score. So, yes. And, it's college game days there. Fox High Noon's there. Barstool's going to be there. This is a huge game. We're going to see what both these teams are made out of. Top 10 matchup. We're going to see. So, represent. Go blue. Peace out.